Thank you very much. I would say that the African Union Commission, through the Agenda 2063 in the Aspiration 7, was considering science and technology as the pillar for the African socio-economic development. In this context, the Commission has been asked to develop the African Science and Technology Strategy 2024. And one of the key pillars of the African Space Science and Technology Strategy is the African Space Policy and Strategy, which has been adopted in 2016. This is where the space policy and strategies are coming from. GMES in Africa initiative is a long-standing cooperation between European Union and African Union. Since 2006-2007, the two unions have been communicating, discussing about using space for the environmental issues in Africa, water, natural resources, marine and coastal areas. And in 2016, the African Union Commission and the European Commission signed an agreement to use the Copernicus program, which is the European EO program, or I would say satellite program, to help Africa for a sustainable development of its economy and its socio-cultural issues. First of all, I would say GMES in Africa is a 30 million program funded by the European Commission. It involves 13 consortia, 120 institutions, African institutions. And first of all, these institutions will benefit from the program in terms of capacity building. Through this program, we are teaching, training young people and experts from these institutions on how to use Earth observation for water and natural resources management, and also for marine and coastal areas. These are the two key themes that have been selected for the first phase of GMES in Africa. Secondly, GMES in Africa also is providing services to local communities like fishermen, like farmers, etc. Then you can see that the general public, the expert, and the local communities and the decision makers are those who will be benefiting from the GMES in Africa. The GMES in Africa is the first implementation leg of a continental program using Earth observation for the sustainable development of Africa. GMES, for the first time, brings together North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa in using Earth observation. This is why we see GMES as the first implementation leg of integrating Africa, allowing Africa to be prosperous, and also to be able to contribute to the peace in Africa. I would say marine and coastal areas are more than critical for the existence of Africa. You have 47,000 kilometers involving 38 state members, island state members also. And in terms of economy, 12 million of African people are employed by the marine sector. You have 400 million people getting their food from marine. In addition to that, fisheries yearly product is 12 billion US dollars. And I would say aquaculture, for example, which is still under development, is yearly bringing 3 billion. In addition to that, you will see that in Africa, what we lose, in Western Africa only, what we lose yearly, it is about 10 billion with illegal fishing. And you see the importance, the economic importance of marine and coastal areas, and having information to better manage these resources, to better monitor these resources is where GMES in Africa is going in helping Africa. Yeah, 22 organizations are involved in the 4 consortia. And the institutions are either public institutions, either private sector, either academia sector, or even also local communities. They are involved in the implementation of the GMES in Africa through the 4 consortia. And again, the spirit here is to bring all the stakeholders and end users together to start thinking together from the scratch until the delivery of the services. The Copernicus services are more than welcome in Africa, and I think they should be even the key partners of the 4 consortia. Why? You know, we have 4 output. When we look at the consortia, it is about data and infrastructure. Copernicus services can help a lot at that level. It is about service development. That is very new in Africa, and we need to, to share the experience from the Copernicus services, which are based also on the experience of Europeans. And you have the training. We need to train Africans. 60% of the African population is young. Secondly, those who are interested in being engaged in marine, in using Earth observation for marine sector, marine issues, they have to learn. They have to be trained, and the Copernicus services can come there. And also creating the awareness, outreaching also information. This is where also Copernicus services can help. Why? Because our decision makers should know the power, the utility of the Earth observation. With the African Space Policy and Strategy, we succeeded in creating that awareness at the space in general, but specifically for marine, for land, etc., we need the Copernicus services. Instead of personal challenge, I would say, what are the challenges? You know, our marine and coastal areas are threatened by the ecosystem biodiversity loss or losses. Secondly, there are oil spills all over. You also have, coastal erosions. The ecosystem landscape in marine side in Africa is really being disturbed. And the resources from the marine side, from the oceans, we need to protect them, but we need to balance the exploitation and the protection and the conservation. The Earth observation is a fantastic tool to provide information to decision makers to get it done, to researchers to develop new models, etc. Our expectation is to see Earth observation contributing to addressing these different challenges. This is what we have. Now, as a manager of this continental program, I would really like, as the consortia expressed, to see Copernicus services, mainly the marine one, while we are talking about that, to be on board fully and deeply. Because, as I said, we need the support from Copernicus services at the infrastructure and data level, at the training level, at the service development level, at the awareness and also outreach level. You see, there is a lot to do, and we want to take advantage of the experiences from Europe through the Copernicus services, the Mercator one, for example, which is the marine one.